So you're about to start annual election period selling Medicare, and you're wondering, how do I sell 100 Medicare plans during AEP? If you're looking for advice and guidance on how to get started on the right foot so that you write as many policies for Medicare as humanly possible during annual election period, then this video is for you. I'm going to be giving you 3 tips to help you write 100 plus Medicare Advantage plans or Medicare Supplement plans during AEP so that you have a nice productive AEP and do a fantastic job. Hey there, my name is David Duford. I own Duford Insurance Group. I train agents to sell Medicare face-to-face or over the phone, as well as train agents to sell final expense annuities and ACA. If you'd like more information on how our agency works, just go to davidduford.com/FAQ. So let's jump right in and talk about these 3 pointers that are really going to give you the best opportunities to write 100 Medicare Advantage or Medicare Supplement plans during AEP. First of all, number 1, get leads and front load them. So this is really important. A lot of you out there are considering maybe doing seminars. Maybe you're possibly thinking about doing some kind of booth at a grocery store. My advice is not to do that. Not that those plans or programs don't work. It's just that they're very hard to control and scale to the maximal amount possible. And there's this variability that, there's no guarantee that somebody's going to come up to you and actually talk to you, even though that usually does. And you're kind of leaving the control of the presentation flow in the hands and hope that people walking in will actually want to talk to you. What I prefer to do instead, if you're in the Medicare space and you want to write a lot of policies, 100 plus during annual election periods, is to buy leads. Buy some kind of Medicare lead. There's a lot out there. Let people who are going to respond to you by raising their hand express their interest, therefore have a much higher odds chance of setting an appointment, helping those people and sell a policy versus just people who randomly walk in or come to a seminar that may or may not be interested. Also, one tip of advice during annual election period, you want to front load your leads as much as humanly possible. Imagine Mildred, your archetypal Medicare prospect. She's probably gotten 10 pounds of mail and seen several dozen commercials by the time November or beginning of December rolls around. If you're just getting leads to her then, she is less likely to respond than had she would have near the beginning or right before annual election period starts. So moral of the story is make sure if you're going to do any kind of lead generation, drop a lot more mail, do a lot more lead generation up front than you do on the second half of AEP. That way you've got a lot more people to talk to and you can stay busy and not worry about the potential for response rates to drop. Second thing I would highly recommend you to do is get back in front of interested prospects, those leads who had expressed interest. Hopefully you did some kind of request for a follow-up, some kind of thing that said it was okay to follow up later. One of the things you should be doing, or if you're watching this after AEP and you're not quite into Medicare yet, is that anybody that you talk to about Medicare who has expressed interest, but maybe you couldn't help them or maybe you weren't necessarily ready to sell Medicare, you need to get some kind of permission to contact, so that once annual election period rolls around, you can front load all of these prospects that wanted to change but couldn't because they didn't have a special election period or couldn't qualify. Now you can get back in front of them, help them out, and hopefully write a lot of policies. I had an agent up in Nashville named Michael who did exactly that in his first year, selling final expense. He went back and I think he wrote somewhere between 100 and 200 Medicare plans during AEP. And most of that business was because of what he had picked up through the year, but couldn't necessarily sell yet because, simply put, he just couldn't convert the policies because of special election period issues. So again, if you got prospects that were interested, go back and see them, get them lined up. If you're seeing this post AEP, make sure you're collecting permission to contacts and then line those up during AEP, and you will get right out of the gate super busy and probably write a ton of business. Last bit of advice here, guys. If you're going to write a lot of business, you got to have a lot of time to write a lot of business. You shouldn't be getting in the annual election period working a couple of days a week. Go ahead and assume that you're going to work 6 days a week, 12 plus hours a day for the entire annual election period. Why? Because this is the time, this is the opportunity. You have to seize the moment. It is not like this any other time of the year, and you've really got to front load your activity into the annual election period as opposed to through the rest of the year in order to hit those big numbers, collect and write as much policies as possible, and have a successful annual election period. So best of luck to you during annual election period. I hope you have a productive one and write lots of Medicare policies. If you're considering getting into the Medicare space or want to consider another agency to sell Medicare, consider DeFord Insurance Group. If you'd like to learn more about how we operate, our lead subsidy programs, our access to many carriers, and our fantastic sales training opportunities, just head over to daviddeford.com/FAQ to learn more. Thanks so much for watching.